Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe becoming a criminal informant or any government utilizing criminal informants to convict another of a crime should be illegal. It should never, ever be allowed. For those of you that are not aware, the majority, extreme majority, high 90% majority of convictions in this country come as a result of criminal informants testifying on another criminal. All right? Basically, people becoming fucking rats is what we call them in the streets. All right? And the problem with this is, first, the most obvious, credibility. All right? Where is the person's credibility if he himself is a criminal as well? If he was partaking in the same exact activities as the one you're putting in prison, how can he be credible at all? In addition, to even further the lack of credibility, you are offering him great reward and incentive. He's able to avoid prison for the most part if he cooperates and testifies against his former partner in crime. Or even someone he doesn't know, just that he has criminal information on. So basically what you're doing is you've created a situation where one criminal can do what he wants and get away with whatever crimes as long as he has knowledge of more serious crimes that are unsolved and is willing to become a rat. In my own life, some of you are going to be amazed by what I'm about to tell you. This sounds so unbelievable, but it's true. Okay? While I was being investigated for a time, there was an undercover criminal informant. All right? So this is another criminal on the streets who was doing all kinds of dirt, who was dangerous, committing strong-arm robberies, walking around with guns and doing crazy shit, and on heroin. So he's a dope fiend, and he's violent, he's robbing people, and the cops allowed him to do this for a long time, for months. Not only did they allow him to do this, they paid him in heroin. They paid him cash money every week, and they gave him heroin. All in efforts to get him to have something over me where he could come in court and testify against me and they can get what they want, which was me in prison. Think about that. All right? I was doing a lot of bad things, but I was doing bad things to bad people. I never victimized any innocent person in my life. So I was never a threat or a danger to you or any of your family members, any elderly people, any women or children at all. But this other junky motherfucker, heroin addict, didn't give a fuck. He had no morals at all. He would shoot and kill whoever. He didn't care about respecting women or children. He would beat the shit out of either one of them in order to get what he wanted. And the government decided that it makes more sense to use him and allow him to continue to commit these crimes. That's the worst part of it. They allowed him to continue to rob people and beat people and hurt people. And they fed his drug addiction by giving him cash and actual heroin. When have you heard of that? These things happen all the time, but you guys are just not aware because it's not broadcasted in the news. Police, government agencies were giving criminals heroin as pay for their cooperation. All right, now just think about that. I know some of you may think that I deserve to be in prison for the rest of my life, like a lot of authority do as well. But come on. Is it fair that I go to prison as a result of someone else who's continually committing crimes and he just comes to court and testifies against me and points the finger at me and becomes a rat himself and then he walks free? So you'd rather have this piece of shit walking around hurting people and being free than have me on the streets? So this is just to touch on my own experience with this, but my feeling on it is 100% across the board. It should never be allowed, ever. And if they removed that, you'd see that the police would actually have to do police work, investigative work, and be able to prove someone's guilt beyond a piece of shit scumbag, drug addict, willing to testify in court for the cops. It doesn't make sense, guys. And so many people I know are in prison for decades as a result of this shit. And I'm only free now because they could not get anyone. When it came down to it, that drug addict piece of shit couldn't give them any information on me that was going to bury me the way they wanted. But still, when I went down, they were betting everything on the fact that someone who was facing life in prison would testify against me in exchange for their own freedom. And no matter how you feel about me personally, I would have been gone forever, for the rest of my life, as a result of this messed up practice of letting rats become credible witnesses in a court of law. It just doesn't make any sense at all, and our entire justice system now basically survives off of this practice. It's wrong, it's messed up, and we should have honor in a society where this can never be allowed. It should never be allowed. You should never reward a criminal and make him exempt from his own punishment by ratting. We're creating a terrible, terrible situation here. Now, whether you believe or agree with me or not, I do believe there could be honor even in criminals. And when you start doing this, it just destroys everything. In my mind, those rats should be killed. They really should be killed. Because if you're a man and you make the decision to do something wrong, you better fucking be ready to take that weight when it comes. You better be able to take that punishment and consequence when it comes, like I was. I never fucking thought for a second to rat, ever. No matter what, when they were telling me life, I knew I did this to myself. I have a lot of information where at any point I could have just said, you know what? I know about this, and this person, and that person, and where this is, and where this is. I'll solve for you dozens of crimes, and I could have walked free. But a person who has honor, a real man, whether you agree with his behaviors or not, could never fucking do that. Ever. So in my mind, those fucking rats deserve death. And the cops and the government are the ones promoting this shit, and they deserve very bad themselves as well. So if you disagree with me, guys, let me know where I'm wrong. Please. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.